How are you doing today? Everyone has their warm bowl of borscht. Some people chicken, some people not chicken. What do you think? Who went for the horseradish?
I did.
Yeah. Just a little or a lot. Yeah, most people did actually. Yeah, I like the spicy myself. Well, thank you so much for coming. I missed you last week. Yeah, but it was really nice to have a snow day. Did you enjoy that? That was cool. I was telling Rosie, I think that San Antonio just needed a day off, even though we had the day off before. Yeah,
Right.
just one more day. We don't get snow days, right? We just need one more day.
Oh, you had a big dose of the horseradish.
Right.
Oh, somebody got a little bit too much horseradish. It's that wasabi cry. All right. Well, so this whole month we've been talking about cholesterol. Oh, I didn't have water for you. Oh, everyone has their drinks. This whole month we've been talking about cholesterol. Can you imagine that we could talk about cholesterol for 4 sessions? I actually have one more session that we could do, but we're going to have to move that to the next time I see you. At the end of this class, during the question portion of it, before the class, we were talking about some ideas that I have for when I come back next time, but I want to hear what you want. So I have a pen, I'm ready. We'll take notes at the end. In the meantime, we are going to talk about today the impacts of physical activity and nitric oxide on that cholesterol that's running through your body. We're going to talk about the importance of physical activity. You guys are so lucky that you have those free fitness classes here and really good instructors. There used to be a really good Nia instructor. I don't know if she's here anymore. It was awesome. But yeah, lots of other things. And I read the e-blasts and they have like the walking group and the art group. And I'm like, I want to go. I want to play. So you guys are really lucky that you have that physical activity and you get to do it in community too. We're also going to talk about what is nitric oxide. And why do we need it? And how it can open our internal pharmacy naturally without the pharmaceuticals. And we're going to talk about some tools, some different foods like this borscht that you're eating today, and different foods that can help to boost that nitric oxide in your system. But first, oops, who am I? My name is Brenda Morgan. I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist. I'm also a master certified health coach. I'm a personal trainer. And I've been working with ThriveWell for more than 8 years at this point. It's been a while. And I love this community, and I'm so passionate about giving back and all this knowledge that I've acquired, giving it to you, but also trying to make it easy. Because how do you fit all this in your lifestyle? I am super passionate about it. And so I can do food and study the science all day long. But some of the people have other lives that they want to lead, right? So I'm here to give that to you in the easiest way possible, but also please see me as a resource. My cards are back there. Please feel free to call me, text me. My phone number is right here if you want to write it down. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, give me a call and let me know if you're at the grocery store. And sometimes I get text from people at the grocery store. They're like, I'm trying to decide between these 2 products. And I can give them a little bit of insight on that. I love this stuff, so it's not inconveniencing me at all. I also do want to disclose that any of the products that I'm presenting here today, I don't have any conflicts of interest. I'm not benefiting financially from them. the products that I'm giving away or that I'm presenting, it's only because I have found them beneficial for me and my family. And I'm looking at the ingredient list and the way that they're produced. And I find that this is something that I can recommend, especially for ease. Whole foods is the best way to go, but sometimes, we're running around doing other things and we need some good alternatives that are healthy, that are the better choices. So last week, and I will say for this whole month, we've been talking about cholesterol. We've talked about the different types of cholesterol and what your lab results mean. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, or even those of you who are here and maybe you might have missed a class, go and look at the ThriveWell YouTube channel, and you can see some of those previous videos that we did. So if I'm talking about something and you're like, oh, I really want to understand my cholesterol numbers a little bit better, that's a really good way to go and look at what I presented a couple of weeks ago, especially it sometimes bears repeating, or maybe you're like, oh, I want to pull out my numbers and look at my numbers, and I can pause the video and go back and remember those things. And again, like we always do, talking about the tools that you can use every single day, different foods that'll benefit you and help to lower that cholesterol. Oh, one of the things that I don't think I emphasized enough. So 2 weeks ago, we did fiber. We talked about fiber and how important that is. And does anyone remember how many grams of fiber a day is recommended? 25. Yeah, really good. More is good too, if you can fit in more, but the minimum is 25. Most Americans are getting about 12 to 15 grams of fiber a day. But the important thing that I wanted to say, and I might not have emphasized enough when I was doing the fiber presentation, is if you tend to have a low fiber diet, increase it gradually. Because then I'll come to clients or students and say, okay, we need to get more fiber. And I make these recommendations and they go, that upsets my stomach, right? And you're having all kinds of bloating and cramping and other things like that. So did anyone get a chance to maybe go into MyFitnessPal or lose any of those tracking apps and kind of see how much fiber you're getting a day? If you find that it's low and you need to increase it, or if you just know that it's low, because I recommend that half of your plate be fruits and vegetables. And if you're not doing that already, maybe you're having one serving of vegetables 3 times a day, and you really need to get up to that 5 or 6, then you're going to slowly add that back in so that your gut microbiome needs a little bit of a chance to get used to all that fiber. Right? So I just wanted to emphasize that. Add it in slowly. Whatever you're doing now, add in another serving for a couple of days. If you're getting 3, and then maybe you have 4 for a week, and then you have 5 a day. Does that make sense? Okay. So increasing the fiber to optimize your LDL and your total cholesterol. And we answered some questions from the divas and dudes, and we're building community. Yay! So has anybody heard about the Nobel Prize winning discovery that your body makes its own medicine? Your body is actually a giant walking pharmacy, and it can make most of the medicines that it will need as you age. Unlike the medications that you buy with a prescription at the pharmacy, the medicines that you need, the medicines that you make inside your own body's pharmacy are custom made just for you to be delivered at the right time and the right dosage without the harmful side effects. And they're free! Yay! Well, they're free to the extent that you just got to eat some good natural food, right? And get that exercise going, which we're going to talk more about today. So I didn't warn you that there was going to be a quiz, but some of you might know this. What is the largest endocrine system in your body? And let me also help you out with endocrine that's your hormonal system, right? If that helps give you a little bit of hint. Does anyone want to take a guess?
I say
A, possibly. C. Does anyone know what the endothelium is?
so it's probably that.
Your endothelium, and right, so it's probably that. The endothelium is actually, and I'm going to explain this in the next couple of slides, but it's actually the very thin layer. I should have brought like visual things. Well, we'll see it on the slides. It's a very thin layer on the inside of your veins. Okay, very, very thin layer of cells on the inside of your veins. And actually you can kind of see that here. So this part would be the endothelium. Here's like a whole, sorry, I said veins, artery. This would be a whole artery right here. This is the endothelium. This is the part that touches the blood going through and the nitric oxide going through. And that's what's going to stimulate the internal pharmacy inside your body. It's the lining of your blood vessels, and it's about 1 cell layer thick. If you open up your blood vessels in the human body and you lay them out flat, they would occupy the surface area larger than several tennis courts. That's just for one person.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot, right? And as you saw, actually, here, I'm going to go backwards. Look at, I mean, there's even more. But imagine all the little tiny, teeny, tiny arteries that are inside your body. Lay that out all flat. You've got a couple of tennis courts, a few tennis courts.
So, Brenda, the atherosclerosis would interfere with the normal process of the endothelium?
Exactly. So what she's saying is the atherosclerosis, which is exactly what we're going to talk. I think you should come give this video or give this presentation because that's exactly what we're going to talk about. The buildup of plaque in those and on that endothelium interferes in that process. That's exactly right. And that endothelium is located inside the arteries and contains millions of microscopic medicine bottles, right? So when you're exercising and when you're eating good natural foods, the first step to open that internal pharmacy is to get that fitness in and to eat those healthy foods. And when they're not covered with plaque, then that nitric oxide runs through your veins and opens the medicine bottles, and they can make their own medicine. The 2 most important things you can do are the fitness, the physical activity, so getting your blood flowing, and eating those foods that reduce inflammation in the body. So inflammation might be caused by, what foods might cause inflammation in the body? You guys have been with me enough. Sugar, fried foods,
Anything with
processed food. Okay, be careful with that. So she said anything with carbs. We want good carbs, right? So we want complex carbohydrates. We want brown rice. We want whole wheat pasta. We want whole wheat bread. We want lots of grains. Those are good carbs. We want lots of vegetables. So I understand that most people, when they say carbs, they're thinking of plain white.
But not lots of fruits.
It depends. It depends. So she's saying not lots of fruit, but that depends on, it depends on your blood sugar levels. So people that might be diabetic or pre-diabetic, then they might want to pay a little bit more attention to that fruit consumption. But I will also say for the general population that even though yes, the fruit is going to be higher in sugar, it's packaged with a lot of fiber and a lot of other nutrients that are going to slow down that blood sugar spike that you might get. So it would depend on, what your status is as far as your blood sugar levels. But for the most part, focusing on those vegetables and some fruits also is a good strategy. When your internal pharmacy is open, the blood flows freely, which keeps the medicine bottles open. This allows the endothelium to dispense the right medicines at the right time and the right dosages. I'm repeating myself on purpose because this is really important to understand that you have the power. Brenda says this every time, right? You have the power to control how your body responds from now on into the future, right? Now, this is the blood vessel of a person who has had too much and eats too much and sits too much. See that layer of plaque there? It can't get through. It's closed. So what can we do to clean that up so that nitric oxide can provoke the medicine that's in your own system?
That. Cut out a lot of that stuff.
Cutting out this fried stuff, these sweet things. I mean, sometimes, and get up out of that chair. And that's really where I have spent, especially the past year, but I'm a trainer too, so I know that physical activity is super, super important. But in the past year, my master's thesis was on sarcopenia, the depletion of muscle as we get older, and protein consumption. And I understand, and all the scientific research that I've been reading is you gotta move. Of course, nutrition's super important, but after that, getting that steady state cardio going, right? Going to a Diva and Dude class. What's your favorite class right now? What are you liking? And it doesn't have to be an activity one. You like reformer Pilates. Excellent. Aerobics. Excellent. Strength training. Super, super important. Yeah, I mean, yes, we say again? Line dancing. Oh, I'm going to go to that one. That's just fun, right? You're like, the hour's over? Anyone else? You said yoga too, right? All of those things are important. The flexibility, the strength, the cardio, really important. And again, having the community and sharing that love, the stress management that comes along with all that, people to talk to.
I have a quick question. Someone that has like a real high metabolism, they can aim and don't have to exercise, they can still get,
atherosclerosis. So she's asking someone who has a very high metabolism and they appear to be very thin, like they can eat anything, but they can still get atherosclerosis. And that is something that we call skinny fat. So you'll have people where that is the case, especially as you're younger too, right? But then there are people that they have different genetics that allow them to eat. They think it allows them, but then, when you see people that they might appear like they're thin or that they can eat anything, I want to see their blood work. Let me see your veins, right? Let me see what's going on the inside. Because if you're not getting those nutritious foods and you're not getting that physical activity, odds are that you might not be so healthy on the inside. So yeah, you're very right about that. So what are we going to do? We're going to open up that pharmacy. Let's talk a little bit more about nitric oxide and how when it is released by the endothelium, it promotes a healthy cardiovascular system by dilating the arteries, which increases blood flow and nutrients to all of your organs. And then when you get those arteries that are more dilated, what does that do to your blood pressure? It lowers your blood pressure. Exactly. So getting that nitric oxide going, it lowers the highs, which would be like your high blood pressure and your high cholesterol, which is what we've been talking about all month. That helps to lower those. And then it also raises the lows. Fantastic antidepressant. All of you, have you all experienced that? I have to go to fitness class. I don't want to go. And then you go, like, how many minutes does it take you before you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came? Maybe when it's over? Doesn't take very long. And even if you're suffering through it, once you get it done, don't you walk out like that? Is it just me? Yes. No, everybody's agreeing with me, right? But don't you start to get that, like some of you, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you get moving, you feel good, right? And how does it make the rest of your day, especially if you go in the morning?
I have more I have more energy.
Yeah.
You have more energy, you're nicer to people, maybe. Yeah. No. I know you are. And it's also a pain reliever too. So getting moving, even if you're like, oh, I feel all achy and I don't want to go, getting that blood flowing, isn't that wonderful? A great feeling. It's also an anti-inflammatory medication, and it regulates that blood clotting and that blood flow. I had to bring in this study here. This is just one of many, but I'm going to give you a little science education. It's a systematic review and a meta-analysis, which means that it went and it took a lot of different studies, randomized, blind, placebo-controlled studies, and it takes all of those studies from different parts of the world or from different groups of people, and it puts them all together and it draws a conclusion on is physical activity, how important is physical activity to lowering your cholesterol? And this study compiled 160 randomized controlled trials to determine the impacts of physical activity on health. And among many of the findings, they concluded that your lipid profiles, which is your HDL, your total cholesterol, your LDL, your triglycerides, all of those were lowered by physical activity. It also helped to lower your levels, your fasting insulin and your HbA1c, which is what determines your diabetes risk. So all of those things were affected. Basically your whole health, your mood, all of your internal health. And what was interesting too is for people who already might have been diagnosed with diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol, if they were already diagnosed with that, they actually had a bigger benefit from physical activity than just your average healthy person would. Of course, your average healthy person is going to benefit from physical activity on a regular basis. But if you already have those diagnoses, you're going to get even more benefit. So go exercise and have fun and smile and laugh. But this just is another reason why you're going to see this slide every single time, copy and paste. You have the power. You have the power to control your outcomes with your nutrition, with your exercise, sleep. When we talk at the end of this class, that is one of the presentations that I want to bring to you, is just talking about the amazing benefits of sleep. We might not do it enough. Some of us might work 7 days a week. 7 days a week, Rosie. Are you getting all the sleep that you need? Yeah. Just making sure that you take care of yourself when you're not working, when you're not running around, when you're not taking care of everybody else. make sure that you're getting that rest part. And I'm focusing on it so much because I haven't in the past been good at it, right? We kind of live in a culture where it's like, I'll sleep when I die kind of thing. And now we're starting to understand how very, very important it is. So I would love to bring all that research to you if you're interested. And as we're getting older too, we're starting to see people around us with a little bit more mental decline, maybe some dementia coming in. And that sleep is when your brain washes itself. Wow. This is new. This is new research. The brain actually is like cleaning itself out physically. Anyway, sorry, it's a whole other presentation. I get all excited. I'm going to turn this on because it is almost time for the food. Yay! So managing that stress in your life and also making sure that you've got those healthy habits. So no smoking, no alcohol. That's what's going to keep you younger longer and keep everything working. So that power is on your plate. I just wanted to present here a few specific foods that will help to promote that nitric oxide in your blood vessels. The beets that we had today, so the recipe that we're making had beets in it, it had cabbage in it, all that fiber. The herbs, how many people like arugula? That's a thing, right? Can't get enough arugula right now. Our rabbit even likes it. Loves the arugula. Yeah, something different, right? And of course, all those herbs that you're putting on your food, the spinach and just the greens in general. And look at this. Look at this, so exciting. Did you see the dark chocolate? Yes. Yay, dark chocolate. In America, well, at least here, rhubarb. Does anyone eat very much rhubarb? I think,
In the north it grows.
but I think this is going to be like, we should make this a new thing. Like arugula became a thing, we'll make rhubarb a thing. It'll be the new thing. We'll make rhubarb toast instead of avocado toast, rhubarb toast. I was reading something that said like squash toast is the new thing. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. It's not avocado. So let's go back.
What's the black about?
Something you're not supposed to see. You know, I don't even remember actually. We have
Good question.
good question. Yeah, now here's the whole mystery. Go talk amongst yourselves. All right, so let's make this chicken borscht. I'm going to start. I've already chopped everything up. I try to make everything as easy for you as possible. Some of the recipes require a lot of chopping, but they make a lot. So you can make a lot and you can freeze it in portions. The things like when I brought you the cabbage soup and the borscht freezes really well. As a matter of fact, how did this all taste? I made it last week when it froze. And I was like, because I had already prepared everything. Jose, on Monday, I said, so are we having classes tomorrow? And she said, you won't know until Tuesday morning. So I had to do all the prep on Monday, and then we had a lot of soup. So I froze it. Did it turn out okay? Yeah. There you go. So you can freeze it. So we're going to start with about a half a tablespoon. Now, I'm doing this in the Instapot just because this is easy for me to travel with and demonstrate with, but you can just have a pot on your stove, right? So pretend like you have a pot. Or just use, I have found that a lot of recipes call for a tablespoon of oil or even 2 tablespoons of oil. I don't really feel like you need that much. You know, if you feel like you need more fat in your diet, because I'm using grapeseed oil, and that's a good choice. But I don't need that much. So I'm just going to use a half a tablespoon of the grapeseed oil. And then I have chopped up, already I put together a half of an onion chopped and 2 cloves of garlic. And then the people that come into this conference room afterwards, this afternoon, they'll be like, why does it smell like onions in here? So we have that. Now I am sauteing the onions first. You don't have to actually with this recipe because it cooks for a while. If you just want to dump everything all in at the same time, you can. But I'm just going to do this for like 2 or 3 minutes until they're translucent. But I might not do the full 2 or 3 minutes since we're doing a demonstration. We'll pretend. Let me see what else we have here. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this broth. It says chicken broth. I went ahead and got the vegetarian version of it. I just wanted to talk to you about, I think almost all of you were here when I talked about better than bouillon instead of using bouillon cubes. I went and I printed out like all of the ingredients that are in bouillon cubes, and it's a very long list. I didn't even put it up on the screen, but it's a very long list. I'm looking at it, which starts with salt, and the third ingredient is sugar, and then the fourth ingredient is monosodium glutamate, MSG, which we are concerned it messes with your hormones, right? With your brain and with your hormones, and maybe not so good on the stomach. So why have it if you don't need it? This better than bouillon is basically just like dehydrated carrots, celery, onion with a little bit of hydrolyzed soy protein in it. It does have salt, but then it's like tomato paste, doesn't have all those other, and also the bouillon cubes like have artificial colors and artificial dyes, which are also not good for your brain. They're called excitotoxins. So that's just not. 1 teaspoon, this is 1 teaspoon per every cup of water that you're using. So I went ahead and already pre-mixed it just to make it a little bit easier. Oops, I'm gonna stir this a bit. All right, so we're using 4 cups of broth, but you can go ahead and use chicken broth if you want to. You can use chicken stock. You can use the chicken better than bouillon. There we go. This is going to be for the evening class. We have a 6 p.m. class too. So if ever you can't make it to the 11 a.m., you can come to the 6 p.m. and you can get dinner because there'll be leftovers. All right, and we're gonna let this come to a boil. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward because I chopped this up already. You can use yellow or purple cabbage, whatever you prefer, but more colors the better, right? More phytochemicals. We're gonna talk about that on the next slide, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. So we have our cabbage, we have our beets, and we have potatoes. I'm just trying not to splash too much. Actually, I was telling Rosie I had to change what I thought I was going to wear today because I had like this really nice light blue suit. And then I was like, beets, maybe not. We'll do this instead. I'll have to wear that for you next time. Okay, so, and this is the part where if you're going to use chicken, you can put your chicken in also. I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice stir here. Now, let's talk about herbs. This recipe calls for dill, about 2 tablespoons of fresh dill. But if you don't have fresh dill, does anybody know what is the conversion of, if it's a recipe calls for fresh and you only have dry, how much would you use? So you have 2 tablespoons of fresh, how much dry would you use? Does anyone know? I'm testing.
Half of it.
Half is about close. It actually is tablespoon to teaspoon. So if it says 2 tablespoons of fresh, you're going to use 2 teaspoons of dry. And it's okay. I sometimes have to look it up too. Sometimes I'm always like, wait, what is it? Like half? Yeah.
I think it would be the opposite because it's broken down. It seems like,
Dry
but then it's freeze dried though too. So.
Yeah, the dried is like more concentrated, right? So the fresh has more water in it, and they take the dry out. They took the water out of it, so now it's concentrated into a smaller space. So the reason I bring that up is because this recipe that you got today, it says to put the fresh dill in after it's already made, but I highly recommend if you're using dry dill, go ahead and put it in the beginning because if not, you're not going to taste it at all. So we're going to go ahead for the 6 o'clock class, we're going to give them the pleasure of having 2 teaspoons of dry dill. So actually I bought 2 fresh dill plants because, I wanted to like have this really nice presentation for you. And they did not survive. So we have dry. Let's see, what else? Oh, salt and pepper to taste. How was the salt level on what I served you today? Was it too salty, not salty enough? Good. I tend to lean towards the less salty side. Yeah. Just because too, our palates are so skewed by the food that we eat. I mean, honestly, it just takes like, we want people to come to my house and have a boot camp of what food should taste like. Because for the first day or two, you get like, why there's no salt in this food, or it's not, But if you put enough herbs and spices and other things in there, and then, by the second or third day, you start to get acclimatized. And then after a week of eating like good, clean food, then you go and you eat maybe something processed or a fast food or something like that. And you're like, oh my God. And then your body goes with water. So I'm just going to so I'm not even going to measure this out. It says salt and pepper to taste. I just know because I've done this so many times about how much works. And then I like pepper. So I actually have to stop myself from putting too much in. We have pepper. All right, and so then I'm going to go ahead and cover this, and we're going to get it started and prepped for the 6 p.m. class. When I open it, then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of this red wine vinegar. So you're going to do that after, like right before you're going to, right after it's all cooked. Then you put in the red wine vinegar, and then you put in the lime. It's not something that you're really even going to taste at all. It just kind of stabilizes everything and gives like that little bit of a nuance, right? You didn't taste any vinegar or lime in there, right? But I did put it in. And then you can top it with that sour cream and or horseradish. What I like to do with, I'm sorry?
No, she was asking if
I was saying if you could see.
I was like,
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I keep moving around. What I like to do is take the sour cream or the yogurt. I went ahead and I brought you Fage Greek yogurt, the 2%, because it's got some probiotics in it, right? It's got those cultures in it, which I can't tell the difference between sour cream and that. Does anyone else substitute their sour cream with yogurt? But I like to take the sour cream and then mix in the horseradish before I top it. You can do it either way, but just a little bit creamier there. You know how, right? So I just changed this to slow cooker, so it'll be ready for the next class in a few hours. There was something else I was going to tell you about. Oh, I know. Let's talk about some of the ingredients here. The nitrates that are in the beets and in the garlic convert to nitric oxide in the body. And now, these are natural nitrates. There's also the nitrates that you don't want to have that are preservatives in your lunch meats. So that is not, that's different. And you don't want to have those. And then again, we're going to talk about that fiber. All of the vegetables that you had today have a lot of fiber in it. So that's going to get everything cleaning out that plaque so the medicine bottles in your arteries can give you that medicine that you need every day. It also, that fiber reduces the absorption of the cholesterol in the blood. And phytochemicals, I know most of you have been here when I've said that, but phytochemicals basically is just, phyto is just plant chemicals. Those are just all those different chemicals that come from different colors that are in all the different, that's why I use purple cabbage and sometimes green, and sometimes we have beets and sometimes we have white, because you want to have a lot of variety so that your body has an opportunity to get all those. And then 25 grams of fiber recommended per day. Slowly if you're not getting all that already. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what do you think that you can do to nourish your body and brain for optimal performance? What are some ideas you have? I guess this would be the quiz to see if you were paying attention. Or stuff you already know, right? Exercise.
Sleep.
Sleep. Thank you for saying sleep.
Yeah. And incorporate, those healthy greens.
The healthy greens. Yeah. And hang out with your friends. Hang out with your community. That stress part really, really matters. Again, our culture is like, we can handle it, but it's just.
That's what's great about the Diva program.
That's what's great about the Diva and Dude.
We check on
We
each
check
other.
on each other, we hang out.
We don't see someone.
Yeah, we're like,
Text,
hey,
where are you?
You check on each other, you hang out, you text each other if someone's not showing up. And, I know from having Divas and Dudes in my class that that if someone's going through treatment, is going through a new round of treatment, that we reach out even more and make sure that they're taken care of, right? That they're getting the food that they need. And because the things change when you have those medications, sometimes it makes your palate change or you don't feel the same.
By themselves too.
Yeah, a lot of people by themselves, for sure. Excellent. Well, those are some of the sources that I used today. These are a few of my favorite new things. I forget we have a giveaway. And you know what? I didn't even do that at the beginning, but Rosie took care of it. Yay! So Rosie put all of your names in a little basket for me, so that we can draw for, thank you. Can I use you? Okay. So we can draw for some of the things before I read the name. Well, actually, I'll give away maybe about 3 different prizes. Let me tell you what they are first so you can decide what you want. So this is a new, this peanut puffs. This is a new product. All of these things are things that I get at the Food and Nutrition Show when I go. And I find the things that I think are worthy of you. And I bring them to you to try because I get all excited too. And I'm like, actually, I give away like all these things that you're getting as giveaways. This is what I give away for Christmas. Like, how I used to give away cookies. Now I'm all like, look at the stuff I found. So these specifically are from a nutrition scientist that created a really nice snack that is actually high protein, but it's like minimal ingredients. So it's like made with navy beans and rice and peanuts and has very, very few ingredients. And actually, if you look out there, I did a video with them they had like a virtual tasting thing. So they sent me some and I had already tasted them at the show, but it's staged. So there's a video out there that kind of gives a little bit more information about these peanuts. But if you want to try them, one of the things I've found is that they are very satisfying. Like I tend to not snack, try to eat the whole foods or whatever. But these actually are pretty satisfying. Like if you ate like a bag of whatever other chips, you might not be very satisfied afterwards. But I found these were really good. And you would feel good about it too. There's no artificial colors or dyes. So these are peanuts. And then in weeks past too, I brought you some of these step 1 foods. Did anyone else get to try the sprinkle?
I did.
What'd you think?
And I ordered a box.
And you ordered a box. So you got to try the sprinkle and you ordered a box.
Yeah, I haven't received my box, but
But you did order them. Yeah, the sprinkle has been, that's been my favorite. This was actually the step 1 foods were developed by a doctor who specifically for lowering cholesterol. So she's put lots of different seeds and nuts in here that will help to lower your cholesterol. And the science she's got the science behind it too. So it's not just a claim. No. And so we've got this smoothie mix. If you win and you choose to get this smoothie mix, then you're going to want to put a bunch of berries with it in the blender because it's very neutral tasting. And then we also have a lemon bar here too. So I'm going to draw like 3 different names and then you can tell me which one you want. So the first winner is Mary Tom. Yay! Which one do you want to try? You want to try the lemon bar? Okay. All right, I'm going to draw 2 more. I'm not allowed to get off screen. I don't have a leg.
come on, Rose.
Bronte. You're like always winning. Which one would you like?
Let's try the cups.
You want to try the puffs?
Sure.
You're going to love them. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
I say, let me know what you think after I already told her she's going to love them. You don't have a choice. Shirley!
Oh, Jeremy.
Which one would you like? The peanuts. Yeah, those are good. Excellent. Okay,